Moving to the UK now and the latest on Brexit negotiations, Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn has backed a permanent customs union with the EU. Corbyn says his approach would avoid the need for a hard border with Northern Ireland and would ensure free-flowing trade for business. The policy shift could lead to Labour siding with Tory rebels to defeat Theresa May's strategy. The Prime Minister has insisted the UK will leave both the single market and the customs union, allowing it to negotiate its own post-Brexit trade deals. But Corbyn disagrees.
Labour would seek a final deal that gives full access to European markets and maintains the benefits of the single market and the customs union, as the Brexit Secretary David Davis promised in the House of Commons, with no new impediments to trade and no reduction in rights, standards and protections. We've long argued that a customs union is a viable option for the final deal. So Labour would seek to negotiate a new, comprehensive UK-EU customs union to ensure there are no tariffs with Europe and to help avoid any need whatsoever for a hard border in Northern Ireland.
Let's cross over to Oli Barrett, who joins us live from London. Oli, Jeremy Corbyn is backing the UK being in a permanent customs union with the EU, while Theresa May is insisting the UK will leave both the single market and the customs union. Why is he shifting from his previous stand?
Well, Jeremy Corbyn insists he's not shifting. He says this is a clarification of Labour's position. But any long-time observer of the Labour Party's Brexit strategy would be likely to interpret this as a change in direction from Labour, certainly a shift in direction with regards to its Brexit policy. Now, partly it will have been because of internal pressure from some in his own party who back what you would call a soft Brexit rather than a hard Brexit when we talk about Brexit in those binary terms. Certainly also, though, it's a way of Jeremy Corbyn making some distinction between his Brexit strategy, his Brexit aims, and that of the Conservative government led by Theresa May. Opening up some clear water between the two parties makes it easier for the Labour Party to criticise the government's position and policy and progress on Brexit, and makes it easier for the Labour Party to present itself, as I say, as the party of a so-called softer Brexit.
But Oli, explain to us, what's the difference between a single market and a customs union?
Well, a customs union is an arrangement which sets up with its member countries a centralised tariff system on goods coming into that bloc from outside, so that when a good comes into, for example, in the case of the European Union single market, the United Kingdom, then a centralised tariff is imposed on that good or that item, but once it's in the UK, it can then travel on to France or Germany or Belgium or any other member of the customs union without further checks or further tariffs at that point. The single market is the way that the members of the European single market trade with each other, trying to bring down restrictions, trying to bring down tariffs on internal trade, but also guaranteeing the free movement of people, capital, services, as well when it's regarding the European Union single market. So those two blocks are related but separate, and it would be possible to be a member of one but not the other.
So how are these developments likely to impact on the negotiations with the EU?
Well, it's important to remember, of course, that Jeremy Corbyn is the leader of the opposition party here in the UK. He is not at the moment in a position to be involved in any way in the negotiations with Brussels, but Brussels will be watching very closely because there is a sense with regards to the fragility of Theresa May's government here in the UK that almost anything could happen when it comes to British politics over the next 6 months or a year or so. So officials in Brussels and other European capitals will be watching this very closely indeed, because they know that Jeremy Corbyn could, at some point in the not too distant future, be the next Prime Minister of England, of the United Kingdom. But it's also crucial to point out that Brussels has already said that the type of arrangement Jeremy Corbyn appears to be seeking, membership of a customs union, but with the ability for Britain to also be involved in setting some of the policies, being involved in some of the trade deals and tariffs arrangements that a customs union would go on and set up with other countries outside of the bloc. The European Union has already ruled that out.
Now, Prime Minister May will make her statement on Friday. Do we have any hints on what her proposals are likely to be?
She had a crucial cabinet meeting of senior ministers last week, at which we understand that there was tentative agreement, a sense of unity breaking out between those so-called Remainers who wanted Britain to stay in the European Union and the Brexiteers who wanted Britain to leave the EU. Some of the things they discussed, and which we expect therefore to be in her speech, include this idea of managed divergence. This is the idea that Britain will say it's going to stick to many of the rules and regulations and standards that came with the European Union and the customs union and the single market, but that it will crucially retain the ability to exert control over those regulations itself. We may get some more detail on the customs union. Theresa May saying she wants to come out of the customs union, but we may get a sense of how that is all going to work in the future. Theresa May, the Prime Minister, is certain, she believes, that coming out of the customs union is necessary, because she says that is the way that Britain then is enabled to go out into the world and do trade deals with individual countries in Africa and other continents around the world as well. So we do expect her to confirm that Britain will come out of the single market, will come out of the customs union, but we may get some more detail about exactly how that will work and how she plans to see frictionless, smooth trade in future.
All right, Oli Barrett, live for us in London. Thank you.